$1,000.
Fine comic who makes moviegoers laugh till they cry. Jim Carrey, a very funny man with a very serious talent, is our only guest, and he's next on Larry King Live. Good evening. What a pleasure to have as our special guest tonight. Finally, Jim Carrey, 10 movies in 5 years, and he's searching for something. Jim Carrey is our guest.
I lost the clicker.
You
see the clicker?
He stars in Man on the Moon. I saw the movie this morning. It's a terrific life of an extraordinary guy, Andy Kaufman, directed by Milos Forman, and it opens a week from today. We taped this earlier for play tonight. Thank you for finally coming.
I'm so glad to be with you.
What took you so long?
Gee, I was scared.
You were, weren't you?
Yeah, I hear you're pretty rough.
No, but you said to me once, I don't like to sit down for long interviews. Why?
Well, you might find out who I really am, and then it'll all be over. That's the dream, anyway.
People who make people laugh don't want people to know that, right?
Well, you know, I think people that make people laugh are actually kind of shy. I know it's hard to believe that, but,
no, it's true.
You know,
most comics are.
They really are. They kind of, they overcompensate, because if they actually get serious for a second, they blubber.
It comes out.
It's true. It's always right there, you know, and so, I mean, I find it, you know, if somebody asks me to make a serious toast or anything, I rarely can get through it.
There's that need, you have to be funny.
It takes
over.
It's a good little function that you go into, and it compensates for that. Yeah, sure.
We've got time to discuss the life and times, but first a little bit to begin with, and then later at the end about this film. Why did you want to do this movie?
Well, Andy Kaufman is kind of like the patron saint of comedians, and you know, growing up in the comedy world.
Right.
Right, sure. Anybody who wants to do something different has to go to Andy Kaufman first, you know, has to look at that, because that's a car wreck as well as just something that's beautiful and sublime.
So when they came to you with it, there were other people they were looking at too, I heard.
Sure.
Milos liked you, right?
Yeah. He's going to get upset if you keep calling him Milos, though.
Why?
Milos?
Milos.
Yeah.
It's Milos.
It's okay.
That's right.
You know,
Milos,
I'm very close with the Czechs.
Reads like Milos.
Yeah. No, he couldn't get more upset than he was at me, so it's okay. It was an amazing process. I would get calls from him on the weekend and stuff like that.
While you were filming?
Sure, and he'd say, I don't know how to talk to this man. Andy's out of control. You know, that kind of thing. And I was scared at first, but then he didn't have the heart to stop me.
But he selected you over others, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. It was a process of auditioning on tape. And, you know, I got a lot of people who said, don't do it, man. It's dangerous, man. You know, like that. You're a big star. To blow it all. Like that. And I was right in there. Viva Las Vegas.
How did you get, and we'll be showing clips, obviously, how did you get that look to look so uncannily like him? Because you don't look like him. You don't look like him.
It's just what's inside.
No, where'd you find it?
I don't know about the look. Just kind of evolved, and we tried things. You know, the first day of shooting, they put this big nose on me and stuff, and tried to give me Andy's nose, and it totally destroyed the look, because the rest of my face is structured differently and stuff. So I gained 15 pounds, make my face round, and still haven't lost the ass.
How about those? How about those eyes? What Andy would do with
it? It's just a feeling. It's a feeling. You know.
Really?
Yeah, it really is. Andy was mostly about the feeling of wonder, and the feeling of that he has some kind of weird little surprise that he has that you can't see because you couldn't possibly handle it. You know, that kind of thing. So it's that kind of, you know, should I show you?
So it really, what you're doing is taking it from within, and when you do it well enough, you begin to look like it.
Right.
All right. Is it difficult to play someone that we've seen, as opposed to the Truman Show, a character who you're inventing?
Right.
This is not this Andy Kaufman we know.
Well, there's a lot of material and things like that. The hardest part about it was that there are a heck of a lot of people that are still living that knew him really very well, and to whom it's incredibly important that he's portrayed in the right way. And that was the hardest part about it, is not trying to please them, but trying to
do
it right, and make sure that you don't destroy the legacy, you know. And that was a lot of pressure. His father told me, one of the main concerns was that people didn't understand. They just thought, he's wrestling women, and what he was most concerned, and the family was most concerned about, is that Andy was shown for who he was, which is a person who had this childlike wonder, and really didn't come at it in a nasty way as much as he just didn't understand why people should get so upset because he's just playing a role.
Is it a thin line, Jim, to play some? We talked to Jack Lemmon about this, playing someone who
Quit bragging.
We know. Not bragging. He was on the show. It's a name. Hey, you want more? I'll throw more at you.
Sick.
Well, we asked Brando once, and that's Sinatra said to me.
Yeah, right.
No.
And he kissed you.
Is it? He did. Is it a? Don't.
How was it, by the way?
Don't. I can't stop thinking about it.
Bad.
Is it a thin line? Is it a thin line between playing something and impersonating? In other words, were you playing Andy Kaufman, being Andy Kaufman, or having seen him impersonating him?
It really wasn't. It wasn't impersonating because you're coming from a kernel that's inside of a person. It's not like, okay, physically I got to get this together. That comes later, but it was initially, what's this guy about? What is the essence that you want to zero in on? And those are the best kind of impressions, if you want to call them. It's the ones that come from, I walked out of, On Golden Pond when I first saw it, and I was doing the face, but I didn't know it. I was just repeating lines from the movie, but because the feeling was so strong, and what Henry Fonda did in that movie was so strong, it just happened, and that's the best kind.
Do you have to like the character you're playing?
You have to have, you have to understand and have compassion for him, sure.
No matter who it is, right?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be possible to play a character and you goes, well, this guy's a jerk, because then it's
so you have to, so even if you're playing evil,
you have to understand that this person was a baby at one time who, didn't receive the proper love or whatever it is.
Doesn't look in the mirror and say, I'm evil.
Right, no. He said, or else if he does sense that he's evil, he's kind of like trying to just ignore it.
To someone who had never seen Andy Kaufman or only knew him from Taxi, which is where most of the world knew him, mostly, from that great, maybe the best sitcom ever done.
Right. And was his least favorite work.
Right, least favorite, and that comes through in the film, but it was hysterical, well-written, and he played it.
He was amazing.
Perfect.
He was amazing. But didn't rehearse and, didn't want to be there, basically.
Meditated for an hour
right,
before the
exactly,
show.
Yeah. Vito told me they'd go looking for him, show day and stuff, and he was in his Cordoba on the lot somewhere. He'd parked somewhere.
Also, a good idea to have the real characters. Judd Hirsch is in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Mary
That was
Lou
great.
Henner.
That was great. Yeah.
That was a great idea to have them.
Yeah, and they were driven a little crazy. Andy was tough to deal with. So,
oh, he was?
Oh, yeah. So he played, Tony Clifton, when Tony Clifton was there, played he called it sharing his music with the rest of the people in the makeup trailer. But really what it was blasting them out of their seats with the Chipmunks Christmas song 60 times in a row. Kind of just to keep them, on edge a little bit.
We'll ask about similarities between Carrey and this character. Jim Carrey, he's brilliant, by the way, in Man on the Moon. We'll be right back.
Bet? I've never been so emotional in all my life.
And this is for my mother. And this is for my father. And this is for my grandfather.
I hope you have a small family. Yak! Jadi si kata pagkalako pasagit. Oh. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Larry King Live is brought to you by Fidelity Investments.
What are you doing? What are you
fixing this place up. What a
Do you
dump.
have to be silly? Is that it? Do you have to be? Is that it?
I'm just filling time.
Are you still a little boy?
They're going...
Are you still a little boy? You're still a little boy, aren't you, Jim? Little Jim is still a little trouble.
It's sick. I'm trying to be... I'm a late bloomer, man. I don't even have hair yet.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, sorry. I have a little bit on the side. I comb it over.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Who influenced you? Did you have an influence?
I was a big, huge Dick Van Dyke fan when I was growing up. I loved the Dick Van Dyke.
He's going to be with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with
I love
Mary
him so
Tyler.
much.
All right, what did he do? he had an essence of
He was a
comedy.
guy who did over-the-top comedy, who did, you know, did the clowning
foils.
thing, but put it in a real context, and you believed the character, and that was his genius. He was able to do that, you know, and you know, I like people like that that can do that. What's not conventional.
When did Jim Carrey know he wanted to do what he's doing?
Forever.
You knew it as Andy Kaufman knew it when he was
Tiny,
5.
exactly like
you knew it
Andy.
then?
I was in my room too. I was
Really?
shut in my room. All the other kids are out playing and doing whatever, and I'm trying to, you know, get Johnny Mathis impression down or whatever. You know, it was, for me, it was all about when are we going to have company again, and will I have the show ready to go?
And you were very poor, right? I mean, this was a poor household you were in.
Initially, we were kind of lower middle class, and then we went in the dumper. You know, so it was worse
You were
because I knew the other. You know,
You all worked. The whole family had
Yes,
to go to work.
yes,
You lived in
yes,
trailers,
yeah.
etc. Did you invent imaginary characters then to get out of this? In a
I did
sense?
that. I did a lot of, you know, pranks and things like that. I tried to start race riots in the factory. I would, like, you know, put you know, coveralls and work boots in a precarious situation inside a cubicle, and you know, and
You're
they
a
call everybody
troublemaker.
in. Hey, look at this, man.
You
know,
like trouble.
they blame each other. You know, it's like it's two black guys, man. You know, that kind of. You know,
You like making trouble,
it's
Yeah, you
fun
did.
sometimes, sure.
pitting one against the other.
Well, I was so angry at that time. I was like, you know, at the world for not, you know, for my father not working and things like that. Of course, the world was responsible, and I, you know, I thought of a lot of ways to kind of vent that anger, and that was, you know, kind of.
Were you an Andy Kaufman fan?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. I loved Andy Kaufman. I saw him, the first time I ever saw him was on the Dick Van Dyke Variety Show, and he did Foreign Man, and I just loved the fact that he came in with, you know, with this character of the guy that didn't really understand what a joke was about, and so he'd leave the punchline off, you know, and I'm like going, wow, this is great. This is so...
He was maybe the prime risk taker, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't even look at it as risk taking.
Yeah.
Do you think you're a risk taker?
I think so. I think so. I don't think I've gotten safe, you know.
You take
and-
chances.
Sure, absolutely. It's, you know, basically all we got is right now. This is it.
Correct.
It's kind of sad, isn't it, man?
Hey, come think of it, yeah. You and me on a desert island, that's
Oh,
it.
man.
Was
But, you know, so, yeah, this is what it's about. It's not about, you know, like someday down the road I'm going to have a big house and this and that. And the first time I ever got a big payday was Dumb and Dumber, and
What was that like?
it was wonderful, but at the same time, it scared me, and I thought to myself, gosh, that's, you know, it's so much money, and, you know, they're going to be expecting me to be this kind of the sort of star leading man thing, and so the first thing I did was took my Bic lighter and whacked my tooth out, you know, whacked my bonding out, and had them put a bowl cut on my head. I wanted to be as ugly as I possibly could be. So, you know, yeah, you kind of
What was
fly
it
in the
like to
face
see
of
a
it, man.
huge check for the first time when you were a poor kid?
You know, the weirdest thing is that I have never worried about money. Never. Ever. And
So
I
it's
just...
not never
No,
been
maybe
your
it's
driving
because
force?
I went there and I lived that way and realized that, you know, we lived on the road in a van for a while after we were in the worst jobs of our lives, and we were making money, and we decided to quit because we were turning into monsters. We lived in a van and we're happier than we had ever been, you know, and I guess that taught me that you know, to trust the universe, you know, and
So it
I used to
wasn't
drive
out.
people crazy. My first wife would go crazy because she's, you know, we don't have a check. You know, where's the rent coming from? And I just never worried about it, ever. So it always came, and it just keeps coming, and it's ridiculous.
Talk about that in a minute. We'll be right back with the brilliant Jim Carrey. He didn't get nominated for The Truman Show, which was robbery in a sense.
Bitter, so very bitter.
I know, we'll bring that out.
Ooh.
But he's going to get nominated for this. I guarantee it. We'll be right back.
Excuse me. Could you tell me how to get to the medical school? I'm supposed to be doing a lecture in about 20 minutes, and my driver's a bit lost.
You go straight ahead, and you make a left over the bridge.
That's a lovely accent you have. New Jersey?
Austria.
Austria? Well then, good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
Let's not.
To me, this is gonna relax. I'll tell you that much. Stop!
No, kid, go any way you like, Joe.
Okay, all right.
How did In Living Color come about? That was your break, right?
That was the porno version in Loving Color. Right. There's pretty much a porno version of everything.
How'd you get...
It's called the Larry King size show, I think it's...
Where did they find you? How did they find you for that?
Well, I wear a sweater, and I go to this ice cream fountain every once in a while and really show it off, you know. Now, so Lana Turner kind of... Who was that, by the way?
Lana Turner.
Was it Lana Turner?
Yeah, right here.
Gosh, I have knowledge beyond my years.
She was famous. She was in the newspaper.
She?
Yeah, she was in the newspaper.
But look at it now.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you.
Easy come.
This is not going to matter. What are we doing? Let's go to the bar.
You got a point. I
know. It's just,
oh, well.
Just a speck of sand.
How did they find you for In Loving Color?
Well, I knew Damon Wayans from the clubs, from the comedy clubs.
You were working clubs?
Yeah. I did about 15 years in the comedy clubs, and which is a PhD of some kind.
15 years.
Yeah. So, you know, that was a great ride, I think. I had a great time. But I met Damon there, and he asked me to come and audition for it. And there were like, 500 people in a hallway, everybody, all these desperate lunatics in the hallway just waiting to go in there. And the first thing I did when I went in was I had to make some hard character choices, so I played everything as Nipsey Russell. Which won't mean anything to the audience.
Yes, it will. Okay. What was it like being the only Caucasian on a show?
The funny thing was that was the thing when we first started, I had so many people come up to me and say, man, you're going to be the white Garrett Morris and all this, and I just, they were incredibly fair and incredibly, everybody got made fun of and everybody got their chance to shine. And, I was desperate. I mean, I was crazed. And Damon really, took me in there and said, this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to write. You're going to have to really get after it to get on this show, to get in there. And I did, so.
And that show took no prisoners, right? That was way ahead of its time.
Oh, half the time when I did a sketch, I felt like, I said prayers on the way home, because I felt like I was going to hell. Fire Marshal Bill, the first time that was ever done.
Yeah, tell me.
Well, everybody thought it was makeup, first of all. I could only do it a minute at a time because it's like... I see some violations. This whole place could go up like a tinderbox. But it gets sore, So you get a minute with that, and then it's, But... I went home, the first time I ever did that sketch, I went home going, oh, that's my ticket. That's my ticket right there.
Out of that, did you get the movie offer? What, did that take you to Hollywood?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It was about the third year of In Living Color, I started being Jim Carrey instead of the white guy. And that's when I got the opportunity.
But all those years of comedy clubs, which means you did monology, right? You got up and told stories.
Well, I did impressions. At the beginning.
Mostly impressions.
I did the whiz-bang Vegas impressionist act of the century.
You were a stand-up.
Right.
You'd never acted till In Living Color.
Well, I'd done a couple of little things here and there, but nothing of note.
You were not known as a sketch comic.
No,
right?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
They take you to Hollywood.
Or a character guy. I hadn't created characters. I desperately went into character mode when I got that show.
The first movie was The Mask?
Out of nowhere. No, that was...
Ace Ventura.
Well, I'd done a couple other movies, but the first one after In Living Color was Ace Ventura, and that was great because that was a chance for me. They gave me this script, and it wasn't very good, and I just said, okay, I want to totally rewrite it, but if it sucks at the end of it, I don't want to have to do it, So I kind of had the trap door, and I just had so much fun writing it.
Did you have any idea that would become what it became, almost like a franchise?
Yeah, I'm the problem with that whole thing, the franchise thing. I just don't like to do things over.
I know, but did you? So you had no idea it would hit, though?
When we were doing it, it was the kind of thing where me and Tom Shadyac would sit around and go, this is hilarious, man. This is funny stuff. It's like making us laugh. Does it bother you when the sound guy
Yeah,
do
it
this?
probably drove.
Okay.
You burst in the air, but
okay.
It'll be in the tabloids next week. Carrey,
blood trickle.
Barry kills engineer.
Yeah. But you know, we would sit around every night going, this is either going to be the end of us or the funniest thing ever and a cult classic, you know?
And that's what it became.
That was the feeling. It was total destruction or total popularity.
And you did a follow-up to it.
Yes, I did.
Although you don't,
that's the only
one
sequel
you've
I've done, and I didn't enjoy it.
Because?
Because I was imitating myself. The character's already been created, and that was a moment, just like we were talking about, moment to moment.
But
you
don't
know?
the suits say, Jim, this is money?
Yeah, exactly. But that's not reason enough, you know. And that's what it comes off as, I believe.
Yeah. Jim Carrey's the guest. We'll be right back. The movie is Man on the Moon. He plays Andy Kaufman. It's terrific. Oh, everybody in it is terrific.
It's uncanny.
Tell him, just say we'll be right back.
I didn't know.
Come to me, jungle friends.
Critics are calling Anna.
Now, I mean, you're one of the highest paid people out here. You were the first one to get a $20 million movie, right?
That's what they say.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Stallone tried to rip it off, you know. He went out there and,
Okay.
oh, I'm getting 80 million.
You don't do it for money, but that's the way they keep score, though, right? I mean, you had to feel good.
Well, you know what that means is that you're in the top thing, and that's important, I guess. But, no, I have guys that's all they think about. You know what I mean? I don't live in that
We bought
world.
this today, and the
Right,
venture
exactly.
occurred here, and this is a write-off.
I don't live in that world, you know, and I don't
So
live
you-
in the world of like, well, we got to double it next time kind of
So
thing.
you don't do it for money.
No way. No
Would you,
way.
therefore, do something? Would you do a Broadway show for less?
Clean your car?
Would you clean my car?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you do a comedy act again?
Sure.
Would you do a
Not out of the
concert?
question. Yeah, yeah. Anything is possible. It just depends on whether I get bored with where I'm at. You know, it really comes down to that. It's just...
Do you think back a lot to the early days? Do you ever, you know, I mean, are you the kind of guy who thinks I lived in a trailer?
Nah.
You don't?
No, it was all good life, you know? It was okay. You know, I had some great times in that trailer, or not in the van. You know, I don't...
You don't
I don't
dwell
even
on
like to... No, absolutely not. And as I said, I don't think about it. I never have. I've
you
always
bring it
thought
to your-
about what can I do that's creative.
You bring it to your comedy, though, don't we? Bring all our experiences
Oh,
to
sure,
what we do.
sure. Although, you know, as I said, the anger towards the world about my father and things like that, those are things that have to be dealt with in some way. And you either become, you know, the shooter or you become somebody who's creative and funny or whatever.
Maybe
You
the
know?
most difficult thing is selection, right? What do you pick to do?
Um,
What's your guiding... Do you have a principle? You say, you get a script.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Is it short? Easy to read?
Do I understand?
Can I get it on tape?
Well, what is it? Let's see.
I just look for something that's different and creative, or you know, if it's balls out funny, even if it's not high comedy, if it's not apologizing, if it's a great director that I've never worked with before, you know, there's so many factors that come into it.
Do you have to be the star?
No, that's not entirely necessary. No.
So in other words, if you got a script where you were like fourth star, and you loved it, and the
Yeah.
director you wanted to work with,
Right.
you
yeah,
would say
I do
yes.
that. Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Who's the director you'd like to work with?
Oh, there's a lot. Scorsese, you know, I mean, I'd love to work with these guys. You know, I can't
Woody?
wait to bash somebody's brains in with a baseball bat. No.
Woody?
Oh, yeah, sure. That'd be great, too. Yeah. These people scare me, and that's what's great. You know what I
Why?
mean? You gotta be scared. You gotta be, you know, when Peter Weir came to my house and sat with me for Truman Show, I was terrified. I was like, you know, I mean, I know I have talent and all that, but, you know, this is a guy
Peter Weir.
Absolutely, and he came in with a book like this of creativity, of things that he had written down and pictures he had cut out of magazines and things to inspire me, and I'm sitting there going, wow, he's really into this.
I'm going to ask you about the Truman Show after this. Man on the Moon, it opens next week. We'll be right back with Jim Carrey. Don't go away.
Truman, what are you doing here? It's a a bad time, okay? I'm way behind.
I'm onto something, Marlon. Something big.
You okay? You look like...
I think I'm mixed up in something.
Mixed up in what?
There's no point trying to explain it, but a lot of strange things have been happening. The people on the elevator, there was no backing on it. I looked out, there was people there, and on the radio, on the way to work, start to, like, follow me along, talking about everything that I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Now, Truman, look, this is one of your fantasies.
I think this is about my dad.
Your dad?
I think he's alive. Yeah. I'll tell you about it later. I'm definitely being followed.
Tonight on CNN News 10, it's more than only on CNN.
And now another Larry King Live first. We've had so many. Jim Carrey has agreed to talk through his nose. Would you try it?
Well, actually, that wasn't the purpose of this. They're
Why are
getting
you
a little
doing
bit of noise from the shirt. So we're trying to get from a different angle, you know, if we could.
How's it
And I
working?
think this picks us up, everything up nicely. Are we getting any wind?
I can just picture a guy, a couple of drinks, just turned on the set.
Uh-huh.
Right?
This is it.
Now,
This
Andy
is the
would've-
big interview.
Andy would have done this, right?
Of course.
Okay,
Oh, my
now
gosh.
we'll fix it.
Yeah, okay. Do we have a
Back on the
nap
shirt?
or something? There we go. Oh, it's perfect now. Okay.
Do you like the,
Ask me
do you like
anything.
the Truman Show the minute you read it?
I love the Truman Show. The script for the Truman Show was one of the best things I ever read. It
One
was
of the great
phenomenal.
scripts ever done.
Great, great, great. And what Peter Weir brought to it too was so cool because it was kind of a post-apocalyptic, kind of dark. It was like a New York kind of setting and stuff. But Peter took it and put it in this kind of psychotic postcard land that made it so insidious, you know. And that was magical
thing to do.
Did you think it would
do
with
as well as it did? I mean, the audience really got it. Truman was a big movie, but it was really kind of hip.
Well, I knew it would be a big first weekend.
You knew that?
No, I'm kidding.
But it was.
I never count my chickens, but I didn't know. I didn't know. It was a completely different animal for me, you know. And I as I said, I don't ever count on anything. I just go whatever.
Truly
happens,
disappointed about not getting nominated since everyone made it like a sure thing?
Not for myself. I was disappointed that the movie was not better received and that Peter Weir wasn't, because I think he had the most difficult job of any of those directors as far as interpreting a script. That was a very difficult thing to do, and what vantage point do you come from? And there's so many things going on. I think he did an amazing job with that, you know, and I think it was a truly original, different movie, and so, you know, that was disappointing that wasn't recognized. But,
Personally,
and
though?
Thin Red Line, come on! No. That tin can, you know.
No, it's
I fell asleep in front of the Mona Lisa, so...
But you weren't personally bugged. You had to be a little bugged, because everyone was saying, Jim, you're going to be nominated.
No, you know, honestly, it's like,
Really?
you know, it comes the time that the night before that, the nominations come out and everything, you're going to be up at 5? You know, and it's just like...
Were you?
No, I wasn't. No, I waited for the call that never came. Basically, I was, you know, it's that type of thing, you know. If I woke up at my normal time, and I knew that if I didn't get a call at 5 from everybody in the world, that it wasn't happening, and that was okay.
Was it your finest work? Did you look at
It's
yourself?
just different. It's different. You
So
know,
it's
I
not-
like it. I think it's
better
great.
than others.
No, it's not better than Ace. I don't think it's better than Ace. I think Ace was a really interesting piece of work, but it's just different. It's just different. It comes from a different place, and that's okay too.
How do you react with the bad side of fame, which is tabloids writing about you, innuendo, gossip,
Yeah.
which you didn't have back at the comedy club?
Most of the time, it doesn't really matter. You know, it
No?
doesn't really matter. No. Well, I've learned through experience that unless they, you know, call you something that it might hurt somebody in your family, you know, or something like that, that's when it gets sticky. Is when it affects the people around you more than yourself. Because I know, you know, people pick up those magazines and they read them because it's like, you know, but they don't really believe it or care. You know, they just
So you don't
read
think
it
the
to kill
public
time.
walks around saying, did you hear what I read about Jim yesterday?
Bat boy found in cave, run! You know.
We'll be right back with more of Jim Carrey, who's wonderful in Man on the Moon. It opens...
Uncanny. I'm sorry.
Just say we'll be right back. Go ahead, do it. Do it, too.
Woo!
We'll be right back.
You know why I pulled you over?
Depends on how long you were following me.
Why don't we just take it from the top?
Here goes. I sped. I followed too closely. I ran a stop sign. I almost hit a Chevy. I sped some more. I failed to yield at a crosswalk. I changed lanes in the intersection. I changed lanes without signaling while running a red light and speeding.
Is that all?
No. I have unpaid parking tickets. Be gentle.
One small step for...
I always
Eye on investing.
Liar Liar was a blast.
And
Are
did
these
well.
socks too short?
Well, normally,
I've
the
seen-
rule on television is you wear high socks like this.
Oh, really?
So that your leg doesn't show.
Oh, really?
Of course, you're Jim Carrey.
Hey,
you're a rule breaker.
I have a license to kill, baby.
The leg shows.
Maybe a little higher, huh? Look at that. Ooh, baby. I'm turning myself on now. I can't. I got to stop.
You do like it, don't you?
Hmm?
You like touching your leg.
The hair isn't bad.
What happened with Cable Guy?
I liked Cable Guy a lot. I still do
I
like
liked it too,
Cable
but
Guy.
what went wrong? I was in it for
You know
2
what happened with
seconds.
Cable
I was
Guy?
on the screen when you...
That's right.
When you
That's
walked
right.
in.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Mike... no, Larry.
The kiss of death.
What? Too dark?
Well, I guess so, but I think more than anything, it was a misconception of what it was going to be. You know, it's like they sold it like it was a light comedy that everybody, you know, whole family, bring your whole family, see Jim jump off a tower in Misery, you know, and, you know.
Well, but that may have been fair, though, did they
It's
sell
hard
it
for
wrong?
a company to sit there and have this, like, big nugget of gold, you know, and then go over here and say, well, no, we're going to do this because that nugget of gold doesn't apply right now. You know, so that's what happened, and nobody lost money on it, so it's cool.
They didn't?
No, not a cent.
Therefore, you've never had a movie lose, huh?
Oh, well, I'm sure I have. I did some after-school specials in Canada that really tanked. Yeah.
When you...
Jimmy Meets the Beaver.
Are you going to do more serious things? I'm basing it on Truman Show.
Yeah, I just want to do everything.
Do you like being known?
I suppose somewhere in there I do, yeah. I could be cool and say, you know, it's a pain in the butt, this fame thing. But I like that people like what I do. That was the kernel of it to begin with, is that, you know, I wanted to be popular like my dad was. You know, he was the funniest guy ever. He was the kind of guy that you met him.
In his circle.
Oh, yeah, and you met him, you know, for 5 minutes, you felt like you knew him for 50 years, you know, and I wanted that. I didn't know that the megalomania would kick in, and no, I think that's part of it. It's part of it. I want people to like me, sure. That's part of it.
Do you know it's funny? This may be the most difficult thing in a movie. You know, when you stand up in front of an audience and you say something, you know right away. They laugh.
Right.
But in front of the camera, where you're doing the 11th take, the camera guys ain't laughing because they can't even laugh because it's going to affect the scene. Do you know it's funny?
I have a good sense of it most of the time. I'm wrong sometimes, for sure, you know, but I have a pretty good sense of it. I know timing-wise and things like that. I know, like, when to cut and when not to cut.
That's natural, right?
Things like that.
It
just comes through experience, I think, you know, and there is a natural thing to it, too. You have to know it in your living room when you're a kid, you know?
Do audiences still surprise you, though? Might you watch, let's say...
This is keeping us apart.
Okay.
It's going to happen.
I knew it was coming. Might you watch... It's going to happen. I know he's going to do this. Might you watch a film with an audience, let's say, for the first time, what do they call that, where they test movies? Where they laugh in parts...
The testy thing?
You didn't think they'd laugh, or they don't laugh when you thought they'd laugh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you get the surprise laugh sometimes because you don't know how they're going to react when it's all tied together and edited. You know, because it's like a roller coaster, and it picks up speed and things like that. So sometimes you get a great surprise. You get a laugh where you never thought you'd get one, just because they're still rolling from the last thing or whatever it is. But it's a fascinating process, the whole comedy thing.
Other risk takers. Did you like Jerry Lewis?
I love Jerry Lewis. Yeah, I still like Jerry Lewis.
He was.
I haven't met him.
You've never met Jerry?
Ooh, I hear he's trouble. Now,
you never met him?
Never met him face to face. He said wonderful things about me, and I love Jerry Lewis. I think he did some of the most astounding filmic clowning of anybody in history. And I'm bleeding.
We'll be right back with more of Jim Carrey. The film is Man on the Moon.
Look. Larry does this to me. I just picked my own flesh off.
We'll be right back.
You're offering me a bribe. What you have just done is illegal. And in this state, if convicted, you could be fined up to $5,000 or spend 6 months in a correctional facility.
Oh, please. No, that was dumb. I was just making conversation. Forget it.
I'm just jerking your chin. You are too easy. Wake up, little snoozy. Smell the smelling salt. I'll juice you up.
If you were Jim Carrey, first ever to have a man talk through his nose, and now, on a talk show, a man injured. What happened? What happened?
I don't know. I was
What?
playing with my finger, and I'm a bleeder.
Oh, you are?
Oh, yeah. It's thin. It's thin. You're lucky you're dry. But yeah, I picked something. I picked it. They always told me, leave your face alone, you know, that kind of thing.
Are you a hypochondriac?
A hypochondriac? Why do you say that?
Because you got a little cut on your finger and
Do
you're
I look
bandaged.
pale? No, I'm just...
You seem to... All right, did you have fun doing Batman?
I had a blast doing Batman. Yeah, I had such a great time with Joel Schumacher. It was great.
Did you react poorly when Tommy Lee Jones said that he's an actor and you're a comic? Did that bother you?
Okay.
You got a right to
kick
be bothered.
my ass, you know, but yeah, well, you know, it hurt. That was a hurtful thing because I love him as an actor. I think he's a great actor.
Did you have a good time working with him?
I did. He was difficult at that time. He was very difficult. But I think he just didn't want to be there or something. But, you know, whatever.
You don't want to do something.
Right, don't do it. Don't do it. But he was
but
not
Batman
happy.
was fun for you.
I loved it. I had such a great time, and I went around my house twirling that stupid cane around and smashing into china and everything else. And that cane flew everywhere, man. It was like, that was wonderful. I had a really good time.
Before we talk a little more about Andy Kaufman, you sold Vanity Fair. And we know it's Vanity Fair, so
Yeah.
it has to be true. All I want is one good woman, and I need to be a good man. I'm not the easiest person. Is that still true? One good woman?
Absolutely.
You can't find one good woman?
I'm working on it.
Are you there?
I may be there.
Why do you think people like to read bad things about famous people? Because I don't. I like to read good things about it. That's the truth. I want to see happiness for everybody.
I think it's fun. You know, it's fun to see the people who are supposed to have it all have a bad day, or to have dysfunctional behavior, or whatever it is. It's in our deep recesses somewhere. We enjoy that, you know, and
especially like when people with a lot of money or people have it better than me.
Sure. It's you know, I try not to indulge in that too much, but you know, I can't help but turn it off, but you know, keep it on when it comes on the TV, gossip stuff or anything like that. It's hard to stop. You know, we're in a conversation at a party or something. It's easy. You know what I mean? It's easy. It's not like you don't pick up, you know, Dostoevsky. You know, you just want to see who's biting it this week. You know what I mean? Who's losing control, you know?
You don't have to work.
You don't have to work at it at all. I am bleeding like
What's
a
next?
stuffed
Where?
pig.
Oh, that isn't even a cut.
It's serious to me. It's a precious commodity, this plasma.
What's your next film?
Well, I'm doing The Grinch right now. Grinch Who Stole Christmas with Ron Howard. It's so much fun.
Oh, wow.
It's a blast. It's like a dream come true, because I watched it every year of my life, you know, growing up. Every Christmas time. It wasn't Christmas without
Ron
The Grinch.
directing?
Yeah.
And in it, or just directing?
No, he's directing.
He must be great to work
Oh,
with.
he's incredible.
Actor's
What a
director.
sweet guy, and really easy to push around.
And you got one.
No.
And you got one coming out though. Done, right?
Yeah, me, myself, and Irene.
You play person with split personality.
Yes, I do. I do that a lot.
Yeah, that seems duck soup to you. You could have phoned that in, right?
That was a fun movie for me, you know, just to have fun, you know, and that was a blast. And
How do you think Man on the Moon's going to do? Really?
You know, it's odd. It's a strange one to kind of pin down, but I hope it does great, obviously. But I'm getting a strange reaction. Like, no, people that don't know Andy Kaufman who've seen the movie think it's a good movie and a good story about a great and creative person. You know, period, whether they know him or not. It's still funny routines and fun stuff and an interesting human being.
We'll be back with our remaining moments with Jim Carrey. Who can tell what might happen in the, I think we have about 5 or 6 minutes left. Don't go away.
Oh, I think
we
Dumb
love
and
that
Dumber is
movie.
really funny.
That was a dumb
fun movie. Just pure fun. Absolutely, I loved it.
So, Jim.
Yes?
As this movie is about to open,
yes,
another page in this chapter. By the
it's
way,
all riding on this one.
You do 2 movies a year?
Yeah, about that.
Why do you work
like
so much? A man.
You think that's a lot?
Isn't it a lot? Most suppose it's 1 a year.
Really? Huh. Well, you know, I don't know. I think that's not that much, actually.
No?
No, Hanks does 10, doesn't he?
Yeah, I guess he does.
No.
Would you like to do voiceover in a cartoon?
Yeah, as long as they didn't come up with this, you know, like, oh, we're all doing it for fun, kind of thing. You know, I think that's kind of bogus. You know.
So you wouldn't have done Toy Story?
Oh, absolutely, I would do Toy Story. Yeah.
Wouldn't or would?
Would have. Yes, absolutely.
Because the story's good.
But there's a kind of like a little business thing going on out there that you know, people make gigantic amounts of money from these movies and somehow convince all these people to do it for free because it's for kids. You know, kind of thing, and they get you in there and with the good intentions, but they're you know, cleaning up.
Are you accessible? Do you like interviewing? Do you like this?
Can I tell you honestly?
Yeah, please.
I'd rather be with my girl, but I see it as a good thing. I'm really happy to do it with you. I've been wanting to do it for a long time.
Very much, but some people don't. They're uncomfortable with it.
It's just it's you know what it is. It's you can only do so many without thinking that your story is played out. You know?
Yeah. Did I say this?
Oh man, who did I say it to, and how many times have I said it? And so you try to do it different, but you just don't feel that interesting all the time. You know? Can you see this thing? Boy, that's really okay.
How's the shooting? We got a few minutes left. How's the shooting of The Grinch going?
So good. It's so much fun. It's like
We've
Wizard
seen
of
it on
Oz or
Christmas,
something.
so
You know,
are we changing it?
Oh, sure. Yeah. The Grinch is the nice guy. The Who's are evil. No. No, it's gonna. Well, obviously, we had to expand on it. It has to mean a little bit more, and you know, Ron did a great job with it.
You like work, huh?
I love work. I love work. I love what I do. I'm so lucky. You know,
you want to finish like that? We're about to finish.
Oh, are we really?
Yeah.
Well, that's appropriate. Then,
thank you,
yeah,
Jim.
let's go out on that.
Oh, I thought you said let's go out.
Let's go out, period.
Z will not like
tip a
that.
few. Come on.
You want to hit it?
I'm ready, man.
Hit the bars?
Oh, geez. It's
Let's
junket
go.
land. Let's go.
Our guest
Tired of
is
myself already.
Man on the Moon. It opens 1 week from tonight, wide.
I had to see what he saw in him, you know.
The forehead?
Man, it's beautiful. Was it on the lips?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't watch TV. No, I'm kidding.
Say good night.
Good night.
Good night. Jim Carrey.
Good
See you
night.
tomorrow. Happy holidays. Don't go away.
100 hours, 100 issues. CNN